Welcome to UUCC, the Unitarian Universalist Church of Canandaigua. We are a group of spiritual free thinkers who gather to celebrate life, build community, and better the world. Wherever you are in your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. I'm Laura Wink, your worship associate for this morning, and the service today will be led by Abby Hallauer Geiger. I knew I was going to mess it up. So close. Thank you to everyone on this morning's worship team, including music by Bill Mills and our seasonal choir. This will be an intergenerational service, and the Wiggle Zone is open for anyone who needs it. If this is your first visit, welcome. We invite you to sign the visitor's book in the entryway. And whether it is your first visit or your 1,000th, we are glad that you came. The service is also being live streamed to our YouTube channel. We plan to continue with hybrid worship services, so you can join us each week here in person, on Zoom, or later on YouTube. To help us connect better with our friends watching from home, please turn around and give a wave to the camera. And at the end of the service, we will invite our friends on camera to turn on Zoom to turn on their cameras and return the wave. We have a few announcements. Every Sunday in December, including today, you'll find crafts, arts, and gifts handmade by our members for sale after the service. All proceeds benefit the church's mission, and they're right over there. Please stay and join us for our annual carol sing after the service today. This Tuesday, December 24th at 4 p.m., we will celebrate Christmas with a musical nativity service and the opportunity for attendees of all ages to dress up and participate in the story. The fourth Friday potluck and spiritual deepening conversation will be canceled this month. We look forward to seeing you again on January 24th. Our usual fourth Sunday meeting of the Social and Environmental Justice Committee will be moved to next week, December 29th, immediately following the service. We invite you to join in person or in a Zoom breakout room. Once again, be on the lookout for suspicious emails that may impersonate our minister or board members. They will never send you an email or ask for gift cards. Fiona Ross McGuire is still collecting supplies for Mary's Place, a center that supports refugees. You can donate money or place hygiene items in the box. Any other announcements today? Okay. Now is the time in our service. Nope. That is not what we do next. We're not doing the offering. We're doing the chalice. Hold, please.
We'll ring the chimes, and oh yes, we don't have joys and sorrows, so I guess we'll ring the chimes and
light the chimes.
And then we'll light the chimes. We now enter a space
of worship. Thanks. Let's try again, Paulo. Ready? Now is the time to bring. Nope, we're not doing that either. Hang on. I'm catching up. I invite you to join me in our chalice lighting words as the flame is lit. Ready? Thanks, Paulo. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together.
Every land in
read an excerpt from the Children's Revels by Susan Cooper. Do you want to be one or two? We didn't
I
ask
will
that.
be one.
Okay.
And so the shortest day came, and the year died.
And everywhere down centuries of snow-white world
Came people singing, dancing.
to drive the dark away.
They lighted candles in the winter trees.
They hung their homes with evergreen
They burned beseeching fires all night long.
to keep the year alive.
And when the New Year's sunshine blazed awake,
They shouted, reveling,
through all the frosty ages, you can hear them.
echoing behind us. Listen,
All the long echoes sing the same delight.
this shortest day,
As promise wakens in the sleeping land,
they carol, feast, and give thanks,
and dearly love their friends.
and hope for peace.
And now, so do we, here, now.
This year and every year. So let us now turn our season's wheel to mark the new season as we sing our first hymn, which is definitely a winter song in spite of its misleading title. Summer has come now dawning. You got it.
It is number 72 in the big hymn.
Yay!
Thank you, Maria.
This is a very old story from the Ninjari people of South Australia, and I apologize for that pronunciation, retold by Faye Mogensen. Long ago, when the world was new, people rose very early in the morning. It was hard to do in the short days of the young earth to get up before the sun made the world bright and warm. But even so, the Aboriginal people of Australia got up early, for the early morning darkness was where they could hear Great Spirit speak and share wisdom with them. Even the listening was hard. They could hear the words, but they could not see Great Spirit in the dark. It took great concentration to listen. After a time, one and then another of the people began sleeping late in the morning, instead of getting up to listen. Soon, many of them began to agree that it wasn't necessary for them to all rise so early in the dark and cold. They didn't need to hear Great Spirit every day. Life was good so long as hunting went well and there was sufficient food. They could make their own korobori, a ceremony with song and dance without Great Spirit's input. They didn't need to get up before the sun. The Great Spirit grieved. Spirit wanted to give a sign that people could understand, so called to an elder named Narandari for help. Narandari gathered all the tribes together in the morning darkness one last time. He motioned for them to find a place around a large gum tree that was growing in the center of the clearing. When all the tribes were seated and silent, there was no voice from the Great Spirit. As the sun rose, there was a loud cracking sound. The gum tree split wide open. The people stared. A huge tongue had descended from the sky and disappeared into the center of the tree. The tree closed around it. All were silent, and then Narandari told the people they could return to their homes, to their hunting, and to their corroborees. They shrugged their shoulders and went away. After a time, some of the people grew restless. They grew curious, and the wonder in their hearts prodded at them. They wanted more. They longed to hear the Great Spirit's voice as they had in the past. They went to their parents and their grandparents for help, but they didn't have any answers. They looked downward to the earth and called out to their ancestors for help. There was no answer. They looked up to the nebulae in the Milky Way and asked the stars for the help. Still no answer. So they grieved. They painted themselves white with clay as if preparing for a funeral. Then they called to Narandi. Narandi invited them to gather around the gum tree once more. They came. They sat a long time in silence, and Narandari spoke. "Did you see that tongue that descended into the tree?" he asked. They all nodded. "That was a message to you. The Great Spirit will not speak out loud to you like you do to one another, but the voice of the Spirit is in all things. If you listen to the trees, the rock, the animals, even the darkness between stars, you will hear it." As the message slowly sank in, the people's worry wrinkles began to soften, and the wonder inside of them lit up. They sat a long time around the gum tree, and as the sun went down, they heard the soft voice of the Spirit in the tree once again. And since that day, life has been richer. Since that day, the people have come to recognize the Great Spirit's voice in the wind that whistles and blows, in the crash of thunder, in the gentle patter of raindrops, in the tinkling of the bird song and the gurgling of the rivers. In the darkness of long nights, they hear it more clearly than ever. The Great Spirit's voice is everywhere. It speaks through the bushes and the trees. It blossoms with the flowers. It is in the shimmer of a fish's scales and the sleek movement of the deer. If we listen in the dark, what might we hear?
Now is the time in our service to join together in a spiritual practice of generosity. Our gifts of both time and money support our church in its work. Each week we spotlight a group or committee and thank them for their gift of time. This week the group is lay leaders and worship associates. Seems like a plant. People interested in finding out more can contact Danielle Lyon. 1/4 of our plate collection for the darkness season will go to our service partner, Water for South Sudan, a registered national non-governmental organization in South Sudan. They are also a registered international NGO with an office located in Rochester, New York. Water for South Sudan empowers communities to develop by implementing water, sanitation, and hygiene programs, new well drilling, well rehabilitation, hygiene education training, sanitation, and water storage and distribution. You can give to this morning's offering by placing cash or a check into the basket or by one of the options on your screen. Please make a note that your gift is intended for today's offering. We now gratefully accept the offering.
Now is the time for centering, followed by shared silence. Of course, by shared silence, we mean the absence of grown-ups talking to one another. So get comfortable in your seats. Maybe the children would like to lie down right in the wiggle zone on that comfy rug. And wherever you are, let your breathing slow down, your eyes fall closed, and imagine a sky full of stars on the longest night. This morning words for meditation are a poem written to Europa, one of the moons of Jupiter, by U.S. Poet Laureate Ada Limon. The poem was actually recorded on a special disc and sent on a NASA probe to Europa this fall. This poem and a bunch of other stuff that make up a space probe is right now sailing through the far distant sky you picture in your mind. Through the sky you gaze up at in the cold, clear winter night. It will soar through space for 6 years until it reaches Europa, driven 390 million miles by human wonder. In Praise of Mystery, a poem to Europa. Arching under the night sky inky, with black expansiveness we point. To the planets we know, we pin quick wishes on stars. From Earth, we read the sky as if it is an unerring book of the universe, expert and evident. Still, there are mysteries below our sky. The whale song, the songbird singing its call in the bow of a wind-shaken tree. We are creatures of constant awe, curious at beauty, at leaf and blossom, at grief and pleasure, sun and shadow. And it is not darkness that unites us, not the cold distance of space, but the offering of water, each drop of rain, each rivulet, each pulse, each vein. O second moon, we too are made of water, of vast and beckoning seas. We too are made of wonders, of great and ordinary loves, of small invisible worlds, of a need to call out through the dark. just a moment, you're going to get a special piece of white paper. And when you get it, I want you to hold it in your hand. And for our friends joining us online, you can hold any piece of paper or just clasp your hands together. And when you get your special piece of paper, take a deep breath in. Take a moment to look inward. Breathe out. What wonders lie deep within you? Where is there still winter night? Oop, wrong page. Ignore that. Where is there still mystery?
Let's pause and press out the paper.
Okay.
And continue.
Okay, come back again. Breathe in once more. Take a few moments to reflect on the voice you hear in the darkness. When you stop, be still and listen. What is the Spirit of life saying in your heart? Are you ready to reach out toward the great mystery of this universe, to be held by wonder and awe even on the longest night? As you feel ready, come forward now, right? I ask you to come forward and drop your paper into this metal container at the front, an offering to the fire, symbolizing your commitment to mystery and wonder. If you're participating online, a paper will be dropped on behalf of all of you, and we will drop our papers in silence. And as always, by silence, we mean the absence of grown-ups talking to each other so that we may listen more closely to the Spirit of life. Come forward now as you feel moved. Just gonna make sure it's all the way up. And now A Blessing for the Longest Night by Jan Richardson. All throughout these months, as the shadows have lengthened, this blessing has been gathering itself, making ready, preparing for this night. It has practiced walking in the dark, traveling with its eyes closed, feeling its way by memory, by touch, by the pull of the moon, even as it wanes. So believe me when I tell you, this blessing will reach you, even if you have not light enough to read it. It will find you, even though you cannot see it coming. You will know the moment of its arriving by your release of the breath you have held for so long, a loosening of the clenching in your hands, of the clutch around your heart, a thinning of the darkness that has drawn itself around you. This blessing does not mean to take the night away, but it knows its hidden roads, knows the resting spots along the path, knows what it means to travel in the company of a friend. So when this blessing comes, take its hand. Get up, sit out on the road you cannot see. This is the night when you can trust that any direction you go, you'll be walking toward the dawn.
Our closing hymn this morning is in the big hymnal, number 46. Now the day is over. Please rise as you're willing and able and join us in singing.
Oh, go.
If you are with us on Zoom and would like to wave goodbye at the end of the service, you can turn on your cameras now. And please join me in our words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
There's another little peanut.
Right now, oh! We're unmuted. Good job.